Come to child's pose, and we're going to get right into practice this morning. It's November. We're in a brand new month. I just sent out a newsletter late last night. November marks the 1 year that we've been doing this together in the BU Hub. So I appreciate each of you so much for continuing to come to the mat in this manner, to gather in this way, and sort of take on that note of beginnings, of staying present for the practice all through the month. So take child's pose. You can fold the arms forward or back. Have the knees apart, big toes together. Release a few good exhale breaths. Turn to a place that leaves you present, full for this practice. The nature of yoga. These are Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. This is the teaching of yoga. Yoga is the cessation of the turning of thought. When thought ceases, the spirit stands in its true identity as observer to the world. Otherwise, the observer identifies with the turnings of thought. Reach the hands out forward now. Rise up to the fingertips, lift the forearms, elbows, upper arm bones to the sky. Work with your breath here to find a little bit more space. And then walk the hands over to the right side. Really reach out to the left fingertips, pull back on the left hip. And then walk the hands, walk the hands across the center and on over to the other side. Reach as far as you can out to the right fingertips, but pull back on the right hip. It's these little nuanced asks through the poses, through the movement, that help me stay fully focused on the movement so the mind doesn't have such an opportunity to run around. All right, walk the hands back to the center. Come up to all fours and do cat and cow. As the belly hangs low, arch the back, pull the chest forward and through, eyes and tailbone to the sky. Cat pose, press down through the hands and knees, round the back. Let the head release. Back and forth with your breath here, cat and cow, as feels right to you. And this month, in terms of asana, this class of postures, we'll look at sequence 1 from Yoga Hour, sort of my classic favorite sequence. Anatta, and now begins the practice of yoga. Downward facing dog. In terms of Yoga Hour, it's stemmed from here. Pedal out the feet. Walk your hands backwards to your feet so you're in ragdoll pose. Meaning, keep a bend in the knees once you're there. Hold on to your elbows. Let your upper body hang. Sway a little bit from side to side. And then nice and slow, roll it up to standing. Come on up to the head of the mat. Mountain pose. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. And lie flat down onto the mat. Belly down, back bend with hands bound. Interlace the hands behind your back and lift. Lower it back down and change to high plank. That can come from your toes or with the knees down. And then press to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward in between the hands for low lunge. And then come up to high lunge, hands overhead, torso straight up and down. Lower the hands on either side of the front foot and switch your feet. So left foot forward, right foot back. Find your balance and then come back upright and lift the arms to the sky, high lunge. Just a breath. We'll have more opportunity, I promise. And then lower the hands, step it backwards to downward facing dog here. Take a couple of breaths. Now we've got one more set of lunges. Step the right foot forward, back into the low lunge. Bring both hands to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel down. Down dog lunge. Walk both hands out to the front. So for today, try to reach the hands just like you did in child's pose right off the bat, as far ahead of you as you can, and keep the hips mostly closed towards the front of the mat. Then walk it back in, and again switch sides. So left foot forward, right foot back. I'm less concerned about how you get there, just that we do. Both hands to the inside, spin the back heel down. And walk the hands more forward if possible for down dog lunge. Keep the weight in your feet. So I don't have weight in the hands here. It's just the action of reaching. Okay, walk the hands in around the front foot and step forward, back foot to the front. Inhale, half lift, forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. So we've got 2 more rounds of these yoga hour sun salutations. I'm going to take it just slightly quicker. Lift the arms up, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, step back to plank. Lower down to the yoga mat. This time, hands behind your head. And lift everything that you can up. Gently trying to press the head back, back, back into the hands. As you lower down, change to plank, into downward facing dog. This time, let's start on the left side. Step your left foot forward. Come up to your high lunge, take a breath there. And then right away, our hands go back down and switch sides. Right foot forward, left foot back. Come back to your high lunge. Lower it down and step backwards to down dog. Pause for a breath. And then we do that second set of lunges. Step the left foot forward. Now this one is different. Come back to the high lunge. But hinge forward now and add the twist, palms together. Take right elbow towards the left knee. Tone and turn the abdomen. Look down or to the side. Untwist. And switch sides. Right foot forward. High lunge. Hinge forward at the hips. And take the twist, left elbow to the right side. Untwist, step forward, half lift, forward fold, rise up, palms together, center of the chest. One more round. These are meant to warm up our bodies, really move the entire self. Inhale, half lift, step back to plank. Lower flat down to the mat. This time, good old cobra. Press down through the hands, peel the chest up. Look straight ahead. Try to relax the shoulders, hug the elbows into the sides. And then change to downward facing dog through plank. Go back right foot forward. Come up to the high lunge. Take a pause and a breath. Lower the hands. This time step back to plank. Do a push-up in between. Go to downward facing dog and step the left foot forward. High lunge. Pause for just half a breath. And it goes right back down. Step back. It's the push-up in between. Downward facing dog. As we go through the month, we'll add in more of that push-up transition. Just one time for this morning, though. Step right foot forward again. Spin the back heel down. Now, interlace the hands behind your back. Keep reaching your head down towards your right inner foot and lift the arms up to the sky. In this lunge, no hands bound. Hands bound. And then release the hands and switch to the second side. Take the left foot forward, right foot back, back heel down. I got my words all mixed up on that first side. So no handed lunge with hands bound. No handed meaning you have to hold that strength, connection in the legs. Think inner thighs squeeze in as the feet push down and apart. That holds you while you do that extra work in the shoulders and upper body. Interlacing the hands doesn't feel good right now. I hope you're finding variations and options. Like, don't do it. Always there for you. Release the hands, step forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach the arms up. And let the hands just come down to the side. And now begins the practice of yoga. You are here in Tadasana, that universal, I am ready. Moving into some further standing poses, please take a wide stance on your yoga mat. You can face either long edge. Extend the arms out. Turn your right toes out. Triangle pose. Reach as far as you can to the right. Try to keep the arms and the legs straight here. And then pinwheel. Right arm down. Catch hold of your leg, a yoga block or the ground, and lift the top arm up to the sky. Look where you look. Meaning, I'm looking down. It holds my balance and security. It feels good. You could also look to the side or up. Maybe that's what feels good for you. Play with it. Take another breath. And then come all the way upright. Switch your feet. And we do the second side. Arms, legs straight. Hinge at the hips. So you're progressively adding on the pieces. You take the pieces as introduced. When they start not to work, you skip the next piece. Left arm down, right arm up. Inhale, come all the way back up, right? Again, switch your feet back to the first side. Right toes out. Back foot, left foot turns in just a tiny bit. And then bend the knee. Bend the front knee. Warrior two. Try to keep the shoulders open right over the line of the hips. Pretty traditional standing postures. We see them often in our practice. Warrior two. Think just of being here, nowhere else, just this breath. Straighten the right leg. Turn the toes. Look out over your left fingertips, bend the left knee. Little movements through either breath, through the body, totally fine. Adjust, adjust, adjust. Each breath is new. And so why shouldn't you need to change just little bits? Okay. Straighten the leg, turn the toes back to the center. Wide-legged forward fold. Take the hands down and head down. Take your weight more forward into your toes. Lift up on your kneecaps. Tone your quads. Bring the hands back to your hips. Press down through your feet and come all the way up. Heel toe your feet together. Step, jump. Shake it out. Then we'll take that wide stance for two more poses, side to side. So let each standing pose really be on its own. No big transitions. Turn the right toes out again. Look out over the right fingertips. Bend the right knee. So you come to warrior two, and then we're going to add on side angle. Elbow down to the knee, top arm palm down overhead.
Pause at elbow to knee, or take the hand down to the floor if you're using a block, right underneath a block to the inside of your leg. The top shoulder will like to turn down and make the pose easier on hips and shoulders. Try your best to push the hips still forward through the long edge of the mat and to lean the shoulders back towards the other long edge of the mat. On an inhale, come back up to warrior two. Straighten the leg and turn to the second direction. Bend the left knee, find warrior two. Take the left elbow down to the knee, top arm, palm down overhead. Reach, reach, reach. Again, the more easeful thing to do might be letting your shoulders fall towards the front long edge of the mat and your hips towards the back long edge of the mat. As much as possible, change that so that the hips press towards the front long edge and your shoulders lean towards the back long edge, leaving you lined up exactly center. Well done. Come back to warrior two. Straighten the leg and turn your toes. Okay, one more in us. This is a balance pose. Bend, they're all kind of balancing poses, but we get to stand on one leg now for half moon pose. Bend your right knee again, as if you're going towards extended side angle, but instead lean further down to take your right hand all the way down to the floor. And then I just heel toe the back foot in until all of your weight is on that front side. And you can use it to give you leverage and lift the left leg into the sky. Feel free to bend the standing leg to make it easier to keep the fingertips on the ground. As it suits you, just like we had the opportunity to change focus in triangle pose, you can look down for most balance and security, more to the side or even up to the sky to explore the range of possibilities. And slowly come all the way back down. Walk yourself into warrior two. And straighten the leg, turn to the other side. One thing I love about half moon is just within its entry and exit, you see all of these basic standing postures kind of come to play. Bend the left knee as if you're going to side angle, but go lower than elbow to knee. You have to take the hand all the way down to the floor and heel toe the back foot in. Change your weight so that it's firmly rooted into the left fingertips, left foot, and lift the right leg into the sky. If you can imagine the pictures of you in triangle, you're just shifting that view to have one leg up, one leg down, but trying to keep the length of the spine, the length of the limbs. The turn of the focus down to the side or up. Slowly come back. We go through warrior two. Straighten both legs, turn the toes parallel to each other, wide-legged forward fold one more time. If you have a tighter low back or hamstrings and wide-legged forward fold doesn't feel great, I do want it to feel good. Take hands more forward and have a little bend in the knees. Changes up the pose, perhaps just enough to make it more accessible. And let's all make it back up to standing and bring your feet together, shake out the legs. Okay, another version of triangle pose, but in a standing balance here. So just thinking about the shape that we make in the legs and the arms. Take your hands out to a big T. Pick up your right foot, knee towards the chest. And then that right hand needs to hold on to the leg. Hold to the front of the shin. Or reach all the way down to hold the outside of your foot or your pinky toe. Then move the leg more out to the side. All right, we're getting towards that triangular shape. Next, pick the heel up so that the lifted leg is more like a warrior two leg with the 90-degree bend. And then do your best to make the leg straight. To or towards straight is what I like to say. Take it anew. What is working right now? And then slowly come back down. Shake it out. The second side somewhat informed by the first because it knows the shape. But it's all unique, all on its own. Pull the left knee up into the chest. Hold on to the leg. Move it out to the side. Pull the heel up first and then go towards a straighter lifted leg. Standing hand to foot pose. A lot of the poses, you break down the Sanskrit. It's just putting the body parts together. Shake it out. Other Sanskrit names name the pose from a shape, taking on animal shapes, taking on sages and stories of the gods. Plenty of variety for us. Okay, chair pose. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Utkatasana. From chair pose, we're going to lean the torso more forward. There's a bend in the knees, but you can imagine that you'd be in the shape of an L, but with bent knees, yeah? And then keep standing on the right leg, tap the left toes back and lift the leg up for warrior three. Now, I like warrior three with this deep bend in the right knee because it's easier to keep your hips square. Keep tacking that left hip down so both hips are squared down towards the mat. As hamstrings, low back allow, you can go for a straighter standing leg. Oy, oy, oy. And then bring it all back in through chair pose, stand up. We're going to challenge our arms, try to keep them up here. Chair pose again, bend the knees, sit into the thighs, and then do that deeper hinge. Stand on your left foot, tap the right toes back. This is a nice progressive shape. Next, lift the right leg. Big ask in the steadying, stabilizing of the left outer hip, there. Abductors getting a good hello. And then foot comes in through Utkatasana, stand up, and finally release the arms. That always makes me sweat if I wasn't already, yeah? From the very tip top of the mat, one more standing pose, and then we'll get lower to the mat to close out the practice. Taking my pause and breath, thinking about what's coming next, and then changing the mindset to say, no, just stay right here, right now. Okay, right foot stays forward, left foot back. Think high lunge. We've done this plenty. We're moving to twisted triangle pose. So from this full stance, inch your back foot in a tiny bit. Then straighten both legs. Press the back heel to the mat. So you're in a slightly shorter stance. Not a lot, just a little. And go back to the hinge of the hips like we just did for Warrior 3. So if you only took the picture from the hips to the fingertips, you would be in the same pose as you just did that standing balance. Okay, now there's a little bit more add-on. Right hand to the right hip, try to pull it back. Keep reaching your left fingertips long, long, long. Now remember that lunge twist. We're doing something like that. Take the left fingertips down, maybe even all the way over to the pinky toe side of the foot, so it's making you twist in the torso. Big ask, right hand up to the sky. Lift up, try to look to the side or up in those options that we had for triangle pose. One way of keeping us present in the practice is knowing that build, you keep seeing the same actions, the same shapes, just slightly different. Okay, hands come back to the hips. Inhale, lift the torso. Little bend in the knees, step forward. Shake it out. Left foot forward, right foot back. High lunge. Now, I recall last November doing the same sequence, regularly practicing this revolved triangle pose, and I think I kept it in there for a few months. There was a lot of begrudging of the practice. Doesn't tend to be a favorite pose. 2 straight legs, reach up nice and tall, and then do the hinge, hands forward. But I saw the dedication, the improvements that came through that regular practice of the pose, so it's like coming back into the body. Okay, right hand down, left hand turns up to the sky as you tone and turn the torso. We've got this. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then come on back up. Little bend in the knees, step to the front of your mat. Oh my goodness, shake out the legs. I don't know about y'all, I'm feeling those tight IT bands. Lift up high, exhale forward, fold. Let this one be nice. Maybe a little bend in the knees. Whew. And then let's take it back to downward facing dog. From down dog, look forward to your hands. Walk both hands more towards the left side so there's some room to swing your right foot forward into a low lunge. Long way of saying right foot forward, low lunge, hands to the inside. Set the back knee down. And let's go further down. Bend the elbows, maybe go all the way down to the forearms. If you have a yoga block, a stack of books handy that you could prop your forearms underneath, feel free to go there. And then on this front foot, just look at your big toe. And can you peel the big toe off of the mat a little bit, like your foot is the opening of a book? And that opening should go all the way towards knee and hip, so the entire leg turns out at the same rate. Nice, slow and careful, and then close the book. Walk back up to your hands, just enough to change to pigeon pose. So it doesn't need to be graceful. Kind of like pull the right foot back until you can tuck, heel into the left side and set the right knee down. And walk the left leg back until the front of the thigh is a little closer to the ground and go down again to the forearms. Pigeon pose. I think a lot of folks call this sleeping pigeon when you come down and forward. And then lean on over to the right side so you kind of fall out to the side. And add a twist here, a seated twist. Bring the left foot all the way around to the front. Cross it over your right leg. Look towards the front left leg to make yourself twist. A more doable version here, extend the bottom leg. On an inhale, come out of your twist. And we'll just find our way back to downward facing dog. To do all three of these on the second side. So come to low lunge, left foot forward with the hands to the inside. We're trying to take up the space of the yoga mat for this one, side to side, front to back. Lower the back knee down. Go a little lower. Maybe it's a bend of the elbows, hovering all the way down to the forearms, propped or on the ground. And then again, you stay there, or kind of the add-on is look towards your big toe and try to peel that foot off of the ground like you're opening a book. At first, you're just sort of peeking in. Occasionally, I'll, peek forward to the next chapter and I just barely want to peel off. And then I'm like, oh, right, I'm supposed to stay right here, right present. Okay, sole the foot back flat, walk it up to the hands. Switch this to pigeon pose. More active version might be like going all the way through down dog to change it out. Left knee towards the left wrist, heel towards the right hip. Sleeping pigeon down on the forearms. fall off to your left side and come into the twist. Swing the right foot all the way around to the front. Left heel can stay tucked underneath or extend the leg. Thanks for playing along with all the standing postures today. I wanted to start firmly rooted in those standing postures this month. I promise there's a lot more fun to come along. Okay, as you untwist, just shake out the legs a little bit and lie all the way down onto your back. Kind of roll down, pull the knees into the chest as you do so. Rock a bit from side to side. Friends, this is your opportunity to add one more pose. Maybe it's two if it's something that's one-sided. Anything that's coming up for you that would feel nice. Some suggestions would be shoulder stand if that's in your practice. A supine twist. Happy baby. Make sure to do the second side if there's a second side. And then no rushing yourself, but from that last thing, unwind into your pose of stillness. You can lie down on the back, Shavasana. Feel free to lie on your side or take a seat. Each breath, and now begins the practice of yoga. Yoga is the cessation, the turning of thought. When thought ceases, the spirit stands in its true identity as observer to the world. Observe for 4 more breaths. As always, you are welcome to stay in your position of stillness a little bit longer. Just kind of tune this out. For those ready or needing to move along, comfortable seat if not already. Bring your hands to a welcoming gesture for yourself as it open along your thighs, palms together at the place of the heart. I always like to close classes in the sound of Om, this sacred sound said to encompass the beginning, the middle, the end. All the secrets right there. And as a way of honoring this time and moving into the next cycle, we sing together. Sing along, listen, tune it out. Empty out the breath. Take a deep breath in. In deep honor of you, each other, this practice, thank you. Namaste.